Chandrababu Naidu has been repeatedly urging people to have more and more children. Yesterday he has gone to the extent of claiming that those who have more children are the true patriots. I don't understand what is the link between patriotism and having more children. So we cannot call all those who have one or no child as unpatriotic. But however, what is the logic which he is telling? Chandrababu Naidu is predicting a demographic crisis due to falling number of people. So his argument is, let us have a population policy that encourages families to have more and more children. So he wanted to even amend the welfare schemes to incentivize people who have more children. Well, is Chandrababu Naidu right? So what he is telling, let us check the facts first. He is right in terms of arguing that the fertility rates are falling. This has gone even below the population stabilization level. What do you mean by the population stabilization level? So the population stabilization rate essentially mean the birth rates and death rates are equal, where the population neither comes down nor increases. So this is called the replacement level. As of today, the replacement level of total fertility rate, TFR, is 2.1. What does it mean? On an average, a couple having 2.1 children. So you can't have 2.1 children. That it essentially mean if there are 10 couples, they should have 21 children. So the total fertility rate has fallen below 2.1 in states like Andhra Pradesh, and many of the South Indian states have gone below around 1.8, 1.7 also. So Chandrababu Naidu's argument that the TFR is falling, total fertility rate, it is falling below the replacement level, and this may lead to a demographic crisis of decline in population and especially decline in the number of young and working age population. Well, this argument is partially true. So when TFR falls, immediately population doesn't decline. So there will be a gap between the fall of TFR below replacement level and the actual population declining. This is called population momentum in demographic science, which means even when the TFR falls below the replacement level, there are already enough number of children, teenage people in the country who continue to have children. So therefore the population will not fall, will continue to increase to an extent. Well, after some time what will happen? So what Chandrababu Naidu fears may be the possibility in the future. So that's the one part of the story. Second part of the story is, to have more children, is it advisable? Well, children today, population is not considered as a negative phenomenon. Population, when it's converted into human resources, can prove to be an engine of economic growth. So Chandrababu Naidu is right. We are living in a knowledge economy. Economies in the knowledge-based global society are increasingly built upon human resources. So if you have more people, more human resources. But population doesn't automatically become human resources. Just because you have more children, you are not happy. Those children should be more productive. They should be more employable. So just by addressing the population, the problem doesn't solve. So you have to give the people education, health, nutrition, skills, employment. Unless you don't provide this, what will happen is, as a plan document puts it, the demographic dividend will turn into a demographic nightmare. What do you mean by demographic dividend? Demographic dividend essentially means a country, a society having more working age population. Today India enjoys the demographic dividend. More than 2/3 of Indian population are in the working age. Well, every country in a transition arrives at this stage. Now we have arrived. But we have an experience of South Korea and other Asian economies, Southeast Asian economies on one side and Latin America on the other. So when the Latin America also had a demographic advantage of having more young and working age population, it could not convert it into a dividend, essentially because those nations were reeling under the colonial rule and they could not invest in human resources. On the contrary, Southeast Asian economies, when they attained this level of demographic transition of having more working age people, they invested in education, they invested in human health, human resource development, and they became a robust economies. So just because you have the more working age people do not necessarily lead to development. That is the comparative experience of South Korea and other Southeast Asian economies on one hand and the Latin American nations on the other. So therefore what is required for a demographic advantage to become a demographic dividend is to focus more on education, health, nutrition, skills, employment, etc. In the absence of that, this will only lead to demographic nightmare. You have more youth, but they don't have work. So the unemployment is not just an economic problem. Unemployed is a socially explosive substance. All kinds of vociferous tendencies will flourish if there are more number of unemployed people. So employability of the youth have to be increased, have to be improved. We are unable to provide jobs to our existing youth. So if we do not provide existing youth with the quality employment and quality skills, there is no meaning in having more children. And this is at a national level. I am talking about a family level. Assuming that you have 4 children and the 4 are unemployable, they do not have the sufficient skills, they do not have the sufficient education, and they are not productive. The family will be in a very miserable condition. Instead, if you have one child, who even if he is employable, the family can get on. So it is not the question of having more children or less children. Having more children who are educated, who are healthy, who have very good nutrition, very modern skills they have, and also their employability. Unfortunately, Chandrababu Naidu has been repeatedly harping over only increasing number of people. More and more kids, have more kids, have more kids. That's not the solution at all. If a poor family have more children, it will be an unbearable burden on them and also the burden on the entire country. So we have to look at the issue of population from a 360 degrees point of view. You cannot have a truncated picture. And let me also tell you a couple of other things. There is another problem of child marriages. So child marriage need to be addressed when you really want to have a healthy demographic transition. Despite substantial reduction in the child marriages in the last few years, still it is around 23.3% according to the National Family Health Survey 5, which was done between 2019 and 2021. This is, in fact, has come down by 50% compared to 2006, but still it is very rampant. So child marriages, 23.3% of girls in India are married below the statutory legal age limit before they attain the legal age limit. So that is the problem. There is a problem of teenage pregnancy, which essentially means a girl becoming pregnant between the age of 15 and 19 years. This is to the tune of 7%. So there have been schemes in Rajasthan, in Odisha, in several other states where the young and adolescent girls were provided with skills, were provided with employable skills, and it proved to be a very useful exercise. It has substantially reduced the number of child marriages and even teenage pregnancies. So therefore the demographic challenge should be seen from a holistic perspective rather than in a simplistic notion of having more kids is essential. Having more kids is not patriotism. Having more kids is not development. Having more kids who have a very good education, health, nutrition, skills and employment is good.